All right. Catherine. It's a sense of a little bit of lost, a little, I don't know if it's a little girl lost, but a sense of lost. What's going on? There's a certain birthday that comes through strongly. A lost. It's like, I'm getting the word urchin, like a little street urchin, lost street urchin, a birthday. What's going on? You're a pickpocket. What the fuck? I don't know what's going on. This is coming through like you have all the wisdom in the world. You've got the mystic, you've got the castle, you've got the gem. You know how to get these things, how to take these things. But what I'm getting from here, really, really interesting. Really interesting. What I'm getting is you're a pickpocket. You're a little bit lost in the streets. I don't know what that's about. It's really wild to get it that specifically. I've got you around like age 8. Let's see if we can find out whether you're a girl or boy in this lifetime. It's like you're going around the crowd. You live, I wouldn't say in the shadows, but you do live in different places in the streets. And I've got you at age 8 as a pickpocket. This is something really interesting. There's something karmically in the lesson where you're having to scrap for yourself, find things out for yourself. You're learning wisdom of how to interact with people, how to redirect people. There's a little bit of redirect going on. There's a little bit, you've got this card of magic here, the birthday cake here, and the waker here. But there's something about this lost in the streets for a while. This is something where by age 8, something's happened with your family and it's no longer in existence for you. Karmically, you've been dealt this weird card of the orphan, the urchin, something coming through. There's something that you're drawn towards and there's something ego-wise going on. I think you are a boy in this past life. This is the life of a young boy. This is, in essence, you are getting through this as a young boy. It doesn't have you coming through as a girl. I asked earlier, which is it coming through? And I'm getting these 2 cards here. And this one is what's drawing me the most. This card, this is the young man that would be king, or the ambitious young man coming through. Let's see what else is going on through here. Hopefully you can see this. I don't know if you can see this well enough. Hopefully you can see this. Let me move these. Okay, back into the zone. Let's see what we got. Why is she busy picking pockets? Why are you busy doing the pickpocket thing? I love reading the past lives because tarot doesn't read tarot anymore. It suddenly becomes super oracle. What's going on? I'm getting through here that you've got a kid sister. It's like you're 8 and she's 5 and there's something going on. And you're the one that is responsible for this kid sister. You're looking out for this kid sister. I don't know what this is about. The little girl comes through and it's adding to your strength in order to do this. You have to do things that are a little bit crazy in the negotiation, a little bit pointed, a little bit painful, but you have to go through it. You have to protect and shield her. I don't know where you guys are staying at, but I'm getting something like, it looks like a hay floor. It doesn't necessarily look like a barn like we would think of a farm animal barn. It looks more like a hay floor, like maybe where people keep their horses. Where horses are kept. You guys move around a lot. You're moving the streets quite a lot. You're victorious in doing it, but you have to like fight and scrap and scrabble and battle. There's this one place that you can go fairly easily with the horses and you're allowed to go there. It's like somebody's got you on the sly, got you on the nose. Somebody's got you on the sly. They let you in, but you can't be there every night. So where do you go when you're not there? Very weird. This is a wild one. You go to some place that's a garden. Really weird. You go to the garden, you kind of raid this other garden. It's like you go through and you raid, you'll be able to eat berries or eat tomatoes or lightly swipe from the garden is what I'm getting. This is what you do. This is somebody that is the stable keeper or whoever is in charge of the horses, blacksmith type person. He knows of you and your sister. Then there's somebody else that has a garden. They're a little bit older, a kindly older woman that understands, and they do gardening, but they aren't going to rat you out either. Very interesting. The boy in the garden sees what fruits are ripe. It's like The person that owns the garden thinks, when is this ever going to come in? It looks like things are growing. And then he'll go back out to the garden and there's like nothing's coming in. Everything looks like it's underripe. Why does it look underripe to him? Because if there's ripe fruit hanging low, if there's ripe tomatoes or ripe string beans or whatever hanging low, you're quick to get those off. You're quick to snap up the beans, snap up the peas, snap up the tomatoes, whatever's in the garden. You're quick to raid the garden. You're in, out, and gone so quick he doesn't quite know what's going on. And the guy doesn't go out and visit his garden often enough to know exactly what's going on. He just thinks the growing season is somehow a little bit taking too long. What's going on with that? That's wild. You've got Mr. and Mrs. Gardner. And I don't know what their last name actually is, but Mr. and Mrs. Gardner. The Mrs. knows of you, the Mr. doesn't. It's hilarious. All right. You're wandering around doing this as the lost child for a little while. What's going on? You kind of have this energy of the devil or the con that you're running a little bit. It's a matter of survival. So you con people. Like you would do a shell game. You would do a con. You would like have somebody, have your sister acting boo-hoo, hurt, and then pick their pocket. You would do that. You could do that as a matter of survival. It's not so much that you're trying to do anything, but deceit is part of your livelihood. Deceit is part of what goes on in order to move forward. And in order to survive, you do what it takes. You do what it takes to survive, even if it is a little bit of the shadowy thing. Now you're getting older. Sister's getting older. What do we see going on? Just good representation of sister here when she's older. Good representation of you at 8. So we've got a little bit of the representation here. But there's something significant. There needs a protection for the sister. We're going forward in time a bit. Mrs. Gardner, Mrs. Gardner. It's Mrs. Gardner, Mrs. Gardner, can you take my sister? You can't forever be laid out in the stables. Mrs. Gardner, Mrs. Gardner, can you take my sister? You want the gardener lady, the lady that owns the garden, to take your sister in? You know that she is vulnerable because of gender. You know that what can happen. Bad things can happen to girls back then. You know this. You're trying to protect the sister. There's a negotiation coming up. There's a negotiation and you trade off years. Mrs. Gardner's husband, the gardener, the guy that has the estate, that has the orchard and the fields, he's not as generous and big-hearted. But Mrs. Gardner is going in trying to negotiate on your behalf. You're like in servitude to this family, to this landlord type of guy. You're in servitude for a while. You're stuck there for a while. There's a negotiation, but yeah, you guys will have shelter there. You don't have to be in the street so much. This is happening more when you're 12. You've done this for about 4 years where you've been trying to look out for little sister. But 4 years have transpired, and it's enough time that's transpired. She would be now closing in on 9 or 10. And you would be, what, 13, 14? They see you as a, the gardener guy sees you as a young, capable person that can help. Little does he know what's been going on. The wife trusts you. The wife has trust for you and compassion for you. The husband just sees you as more like a servant. What else? Mrs. Gardner is teaching your sister something. I don't know what happened to your parents or why they are nowhere to be found. No idea. But Mrs. Gardner is teaching your sister. Mrs. Gardner is looking out for your sister so she doesn't get taken advantage of. She'll set her up for like what she can in a good established kind of way. But now you've been trading off some of these years for this protection. How many of these years are going to be traded off? So if this is coming in where you're like all of your teen years, all of your youth, all of your teen years are traded off. We got this over here too, the teenage years. This is like until you're 19 or 20, till your 20th year. So this is a long time from all of your teen years are traded off, and you are treated like the servant in the household. You get the serving quarters. This is a couple that's aging and getting older. This is like a second chance to have parents that aren't quite parents, uncles and aunts that aren't quite uncles and aunts, but enough security, enough stability. This is something about when you turn 20. Now what goes on? Because you're going to go exploring. Of course you are. At age 20, you come into power a little bit more. I don't get that this couple ever had kids. I get that this was a bitter disappointment. What's going on with the husband? I'm wondering if the husband has fathered children that are illegitimate children. This is what it's feeling like. Like the wife that he has married, the wife that would be the legitimate one, hasn't had children, but it feels like he has kids from another woman somewhere else. Let's be looking in this deck now. What do we got here? This is why that he's got a little bit of bristliness towards you also. So does he have another child somewhere? Oh, yeah. He's got a few of them. The wife that he's married to wasn't the love of his life, and he goes back to this other woman over and over and over. He goes back to this other woman, and he has multiple children with them. They are not considered the heirs. They are not considered the legals. The wife is considered the one that has the legal right to things. And she is a good-hearted woman. I don't know what the deal is, why the marriage didn't produce children for them or whatever's going on, who knows. But it made room for you to be in their household. And all of these other children, what's going on with them and this other woman? He's really actually trying to run 2 households at the same time. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. He thinks that the wife doesn't know. He thinks the wife doesn't know about the mistress and the other kids. It looks like he's got 3 other kids from this other mistress, and he thinks his wife doesn't know about it. She does know about it. She does know. She understands, but she's content with what's going on in her world right now. She does love your sister. The wife loves your sister and wants to look out for her and look out for her best interest. The wife is looking out for both of you, but she's partial to your sister. I think she always wanted a daughter. I think the guy has the kids with the other one. And daughters. What do we have here? We have 2 daughters and a son by the other woman. And the son by the other woman is the one that's biologically his. You've been in the household all this time, but the biological is not going to inherit. Really strange. What do we got here? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here he is. Here's the one that's the upside down, the fertile one. Yeah, the illegitimates are out in the cold. There's work that's done. Here's the wife that is the wife that's the legitimate wife. She's able to make choices and decisions about who she accepts within this land, this estate, within this name that is okayed. The other children with the other woman, if he wants to have them, that's fine, but they will have to wait before they get anything. And it's not that she even detests them or dislikes them. It's just how it is. It's just how it is for them. The happy times of youth between you and your sister are being referenced here. This guarded time that comes. But when you are 20 and you go out adventuring, it's when there's this big change in the whole scope of things. Again, there you go, out venturing. You're better set to go out adventuring, but you're going to have to work and do something different. Have you been going back to this stable place? I think you have, but you've been going back to the stables on your own a little bit more and more. On occasion, you'll need a break from whatever it is that the landlord, master of the house, whatever character, whatever you want to call this guy, whatever he's doing, you're taking a break from that, of periodically going to the stable, the painful work, the painful lessons, the painful place to stay that doesn't have as much comfort in there for you. Not as much comfort, not as much joy, but you've gone back there. There's something where you've learned some kind of trade. You've learned something from this one. It's almost as if you've gone into the stables and learned the trades of the stable person that would... Are you forging? Not foraging, which you have done, but are you forging? Are you doing work like a blacksmith? Yes, you are. Absolutely, you are. It's coming through right here, loud and clear. It's coming through. There is a way that you forge. There's a way that you've learned this skill. You can work in the forge, but you're also still bound to this house. But when you break free, you go work in the forge. You go forge, you go forge, you go forge. I don't think you're burdened by your sister's sense of obligation or obligation to her any further, anything else going forward. Alas, the service time has ended. The time where you're in servitude has ended, and you're able to go out and create your own path. Do your own work. This is something where you are smithing. You are doing your own work. You become very, very masterful at what you're forging. You like doing smelting work. Is that what it's called? I don't know. It feels like you're able to do horseshoes. You're able to do swords. This is what you do, but you're extremely good on swords. You like to do swords. This is something that you do. You go make your own way in the world. You go away from the shelter of this, the gardener, Mr. and Mrs. Gardener, whatever you want to call them. You go away from that. You become like a swordsmith. Ooh. Now here's this romance coming in. You're going to travel for a while to earn your fortune, to come back, to return. There's somebody that's caught your attention, caught your eye, but you cannot catch her. You're not in anything close to the same type of class system as she is. There's a little bit of heartbreak over this. You have to earn your fortune before you would even think about returning anything else. It's honing the craft that you didn't think you would have to hone. Honing the craft, using whatever resources are available to you. You're very keen to use the resources that are granted to you, that are given to you. You're keen to do them. Rather quick learner. But still challenge. This isn't an easy life. Yeah, you're gone for about 3 years. So you're like in your mid-20s here, coming back. Anything else? Mid to late 20s coming back. 28th year. Swordsman returns. 28th year. What's going on? I'm getting this girl and this girl is the same, and this is checking in on the sister, making sure she's okay. She's fine. But this girl has retreated. 28th year, she's retreated. I don't know if you guys actually get together in this life, but she is the love. She is who you follow. She is what keeps you in alignment, true north. There's a deep and profound friendship with her. It's almost like she goes into a life of solitude, a cloistered type of life. That's tragic, but beautiful. Yeah, that's the truth of it. Yeah, where it's ending is she's like doing something where she's like dedicated to God, or cloistered type of life where she's really, really in solitude. She stays and remains friends with you. It doesn't look like you guys weave your paths together in a way of romance, but it is this deep love. It's very much courtly is what I'm getting. That's what I've got, and that's complete. Holy cow. That's where it stops. That's where it stops. That's what goes on. Your life is meant to be in servitude, and you've protected your sister. Huge, huge, huge. I think it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But that's where it ended. That's like the stop card comes as the stop card. That's the truth of it. It's like you are adjusting to this life that has you serving in all kinds of way. Serve, 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 serve. You go out on your own. You make a little bit more of your own independent progress in your own fortune, but you're not able to quite incorporate and do the family thing just so easily in that life. It's something that perhaps in this life will come a little easier to you because you kind of paid it forward in such a big way back then. That's what I've got.